From the studios of Time Warner Cable, this is the Civic Forum of the Air, brought to you in cooperation with the Jewish Community Center of Akron.
Welcome to Civic Forum of the Air. I'm Leslie Ungar, your host today. If we do this right, we can be a real educational leader in the world. Those profound words were spoken by a student at the University of Southern California. What do we do right in education to be a leader in the world? Today we're going to continue a discussion that we started with two experts in education, two experts from two different sides of that continuum. First, I'd like to introduce back to you Dr. Sylvester Small, Superintendent of Akron Public Schools, born, raised, and educated in Akron, and made the commitment to Akron to stay here to see his goals for the improvement in education implemented, whether it be in increasing enrollment by attracting and retaining students, collaborating with other school systems, collaborating, now there's an important word, or maintaining strong partnerships with businesses, which we will find out more about today. So I welcome you back. This is a continuation of a talk that we started on invigorating education because we just had too much to cover to do it in one show. My second guest is Dr. Drum McNaughton, the change leader, an expert at transforming educational organizations from the outside in. While Dr. Small is from Akron, born and raised, Drum comes to us from San Diego to give us a perspective a little more globally than Akron and from a different perspective. So I welcome both of you for continuing our discussion. Dr. Small, Superintendent, Dr. McNaughton, thechangeleader.com. Let me start by asking about your jobs from a more personal perspective first. Let me ask you, Dr. Small, what would you say is the hardest part about your job?
The hardest part about my job is trying to get everybody to believe.
To believe?
To believe in the dream that we can educate all of our children at high levels and to put forth the effort and the energy to do it.
Now when you say everyone, I assume that you mean students, teachers, parents, community. Okay, out of all of those segments, which one is the most challenging to get to believe?
I think the most challenges are our workforce in education. If they don't believe in it, nobody else will buy the dream. So first we have to convince all of our people, all of our teachers, all of our principals, superintendent, all of our board members that this is something important. Do we believe it? Are we committed to it? Other folks, you have to do that before you can get other folks committed to it.
And before I go to Drum to ask that question, what are some ways that you get people to believe in the dream?
You get them instruction, you communicate to them, you get them to buy in, you work with them, you show them that we can make progress, and you get them to love the children. Get them to love the children, and I always say to folks, treat them like you would treat your own child. Have the same aspiration, the same expectations that you would have for your own child, and help them and love them, but don't ever, ever not give them what they need.
And what they need might be?
They need nurturing, they need a affirming environment, but they also need high expectations that you have to stretch them. And sometimes we don't want to stretch our children. We say, well, they're doing the best they can do.
Okay, so it's a help, it's a good thing to give a child high expectations.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Drum, let me ask you. You work with education in a different way as a consultant to education to transform education. What is one of the hardest things about your job?
I'd say the single biggest thing is getting people to embrace change. There's that old saying, the devil inside is a lot more familiar and easier to deal with than the devil outside. People naturally don't like change. So when you come in and you're proposing that they change something that they've done for years and years, you have to have a lot of data for them to believe that this is going to make a difference.
So, well, that's an interesting point. Is it data that helps people make change, or is it belief that helps people make change?
The data helps to shift the perception, but it's really the trust. That's one of the things that it's critical when I come in and work with an organization, is to build the trust with not only the administration but with the teachers, so that they're willing, you know, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. We'll give it a shot, see if it works. Once I've got them to that point, you can make the shift.